Hi everyone, I'm Ashin Santosh. I'm currently doing my master's in robotics and welcome to the very first video on this channel. Here on this channel, we are going to be focused entirely on the world of robotics and AI. I'll be covering everything from absolute basics all the way to advanced concepts. So if you're someone who's interested in building robots or understanding modern AI, do consider subscribing to the channel, and if you find the video helpful or informative, do give a thumbs up. So in this video, we'll be covering the installation of ROS2 on macOS, which will be our initial step towards the world of robotics, terminators, and Skynet. I won't be covering the installation of ROS2 in Linux or Windows, as there's a lot of videos out there in which we use dual booting, WSL, or virtual machine software such as VirtualBox. And I'm having a Mac, and if you're also in a similar case, you know that dual booting isn't really an option, and the compatibility can be tricky because of the architecture differences. There are free softwares out there like UTM and VMware, but in my testing, I found it's most of these softwares struggle when it comes to GPU pass-through and 3D acceleration. That's why I prefer Parallels, and this is Parallels. So I'm using the Pro plan, which is 128 gigs of VRAM, 32 virtual CPUs, and this is the cost. You can also opt for the standard plan, which is also okay. And the reason why I'm using Parallels is because there are other softwares for Mac like UTM, but this is the issue. Most of these has lack the GPU acceleration or are still in experimental phases, and we need good GPU acceleration when we need to run simulations in Gazebo, which we'll be doing in the upcoming videos. So yep, that's why I'm using Parallels for this video, and let's get started. So I've already installed Parallels. I'm using the 20.4.1 version. This is not the latest version of Parallels because the latest version has some issues with the x86 translation layer, and that's why I'm using the 20.4.1. Hopefully by the time you are seeing this video, this issue regarding Parallels is fixed, and yeah, you'll be able to use the latest version. But if not, if the following methods are not working, I would recommend you to use this version of Parallels. So we'll be creating a new VM, and we have two options for Linux systems: either download Ubuntu Linux or Ubuntu Linux with Rosetta. We'll be using this one. Continue, and you can see this is specifically to run x86 Docker containers. We'll download this one. So it's like 3.55 GB, and this comes with Docker installed. And the thing is that it uses Rosetta. This is what allows the x86 translation. So I'll pause this video for now, and I'll continue when the download is done. Yeah, so the installation is done. So we have to enter a new password. And yep, Parallels is doing its thing. It's uninstalling Parallels tools. So we'll wait for this installation to get done successfully. Now we need to restart. Yeah, sure. And what we will be doing is we'll be running Docker inside Parallels. So let's open the terminal. If you see, if you type lsp release-a, we are having Ubuntu 24.04 Noble, and if you type name -m, the architecture is ARCH64, which is not the one which we need. We want AMD architecture. So for that, let's check docker ps permission denied. This is the classic Docker permission issue, and for this we run these commands. So we have to paste in this one by one. So we are adding a user to Docker. Then we are creating a new group, and we are enabling the group. So now if we run, yep, Docker works, and the command which we use to spin up the environment for our Ubuntu system is this. I'll link all the commands in the description. You can just copy paste it. So instead of 512 and we'll give it 8 gigs of memory, and this is dependent on how much you give this the Parallels Ubuntu virtual machine. So you have to increase it in the settings first, and then you have to do it. So let's power off for now. Go here, configurations, hardware, and the memory you have to set it to 8 gigs. Okay, processors can also be increased to 6-7 processors, and yeah, graphics is on scaled. Yep, this all of this is done. So if we start our virtual machine again, it should be loaded with 8 gigs of memory, and we can give at least 6 gigs to our Docker container. Okay, now we have upgraded the size of the virtual machine. Now we'll be going into terminal. We'll check docker ps, still working, and we will run the docker command. And for the purpose of this video, I'll just be giving it 6 gigs of RAM, since I've given the whole container 8 gigs. You can increase it if you want, and I'll name it md test. And yeah, let's run the container. So it's spinning up everything. If you don't have the components in your local, like the if you don't have the Docker image in your local system, it does go download all of this content and it's pinned up. So if we go to the browser, 6080, and this is our Ubuntu system with Gazebo installed. So let's go to terminator. So ROS2 is installed, Gazebo, and this launches Gazebo. And let's check and it's pretty smooth because we are giving it enough memory for processing it, and it's using the graphics card for processing as well. And yeah, this is how you install ROS on Mac OS. So I hope that this helps you and gets you up and running so that you can now focus more on the coding section. And in the upcoming videos, we'll actually start building the simulation of robots in this environment. So thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.